What's going on, guys? So right now I have my regular standard Autel Evo 2 Pro 6K, and I figured we have a foggy day, and some people were asking about the defog feature built into the app, into the Autel Explorer app. So let's go ahead and see what that's all about. And I'll explain a little bit, and it's pretty simplistic. So essentially it's kind of like the equivalent of a dehaze filter in Camera Raw, which is in Photoshop, or in Lightroom. There's a dehaze. There's dehaze in a lot of different things, but this would be probably a good day to test it out and show you what it may do. And again, defog, we got a foggy day. So I also have on this drone, I have my Firehouse Arc 5 strobe, so because it's a hazy day, I'm gonna make sure I turn this guy on. And we do that by depressing the button for 3 seconds in the front. 1, 2, 3. And now we have a little amber. It's hard to see, but if you look at it or it catches the right light, you got a little bit more visibility. So again, another use, not just for night flying, these Firehouse strobes, or any strobe, but I will say Firehouse to me is the best strobe, and it looks cool and it works and it has really good visibility. So right now this is again the amber one. So we're gonna go ahead and power this guy on. And this is a good day for maybe hand launching this because it's wet out. So the ground's wet. I may wanna just opt to actually hand launch it because I don't want to get any kind of debris or wetness onto my drone. So we're going to make sure it's level while I'm powering it on. And I'll put it aside for a moment. And we're going to power on the remote controller by depressing the power button. And I'll record my screen. And we're going to connect, and we're going to wait to make sure it says ready to go on the actual controller. So star point ready to go. Again, I'm gonna keep on saying that to you guys who are new to Autel, because that is a good thing to be conscious of. It says magnetic interference, probably because I'm right by a giant sculpture. That's metal, so that makes complete sense. We're gonna go ahead and go into the Explorer app. We're gonna go ahead and hide the little map by clicking on that, clicking on the little target sign, and now you see we have the drone. I'm going to go ahead and hand launch it by starting. Whoop. Come on. There we go. And we're going to take off, and we'll see what happens with this defog. So boom, cruise out a little bit. And as you can see, I should have really calibrated the gimbal so you guys are aware before the flight, but this is more about just showing what this defog is all about. So we're gonna go ahead and make sure we're still screen recording. We are. And as you see right now, the exposure is actually pretty good. If you see the histogram, everything's hugging in the middle as it should. So nothing's blown out. Let me go ahead and click the screen, move this guy around. Move it below the map. Now if we go to the bottom right-hand corner and hit this little camera button right here, we're gonna see the defog. Now watch what happens. We're gonna go ahead and turn it on, and now if we increase it, it's gonna add a little bit more punchiness to the image, but not a lot. So it's not doing all that great, but sometimes on some days it really does a decent job. Let me go ahead. Horizon looks a teeny bit off. Let me get my exposure dialed. Boom. F-stop, get a little bit more light in, maybe 6.3, and let's kind of cruise a little bit and see if we can get this thing to look a little bit more punchy with the defog. But again, it's kind of in camera dehaze. That's essentially what I would explain it as. And right now you can see my horizon's off a little bit. And just so you guys are aware, if you need to adjust this and tweak, you can go to the upper right-hand corner, go into Gimbal, and then go into Adjust Gimbal by hitting the Start icon, and then adjust maybe the roll. And it will take effect basically when you click Done. It looks a little bit better, not quite. Let me see. I always get confused too. I don't know if you guys do, which way to go. So let's go and just go to 1.4 and see what happens. I'm looking at the little grid line by the bottom of the bridge to see if it's getting worse or better. And it looks like it may be. Let me try again. I'm going to go to the other direction. Let's go and zero it out. Maybe we'll go -4, hit done. And let's see if it starts to move a little bit. I mean, that looks pretty good. So you know, at least with this tutorial or a little information about the defog, you basically can go and adjust your gimbal in Adjust Gimbal over here in the gimbal settings. So that's a little extra bonus. We're going to go back into the lower right hand corner, this little camera icon, go to defog, and let's play around with it. Let's go to the 1, and that kind of lightens it up and kind of takes, you know, it's kind of nice actually. And this, if we go to the other direction, we'll kind of punch it up, but it's so hazy out that really it looks better the opposite direction. So let's go ahead and see. Click a little bit. There we go. And we can take a picture. Boom. And let's try one more time and see what it does if we go the opposite direction. And you see that may be better for you too, but it's going to basically be like a dehaze filter, as I said, in Lightroom or in Camera Raw. It's essentially just going to kind of make it a little bit more punchy. Of course, it's personal preference based on what you like for look and feel of your image or your footage, but just know that this is there, and essentially it's not necessary to have this thing enabled. You can turn it off like so and just have normal footage. And let's go a little bit further maybe. We'll cruise down a little bit because we can. Actually, there's some nice birds over here. And we'll cruise a little bit. Let's go down a little and see if there's maybe another subject that will get a little bit better effect with the defog. Now, mind you, the strobe is on. It just helps out a little bit. And it's a pretty hazy day out. A lazy, hazy day. So let's just go over here where it's really hazy. Kind of cool. I'm going to take a picture normal just because I can. I'm going to go over here, enable defog, and you see what it does. It instantly makes it a teeny bit punchier, and of course you can do that with your RAW file in post. So right now I'm capturing JPEG plus RAW, but you may want to just go ahead and tweak it in the app and play around with this. So just know that it's there. I mean, I'm not going to do a huge video on this because there's no real reason to, but again, we'll cruise a little bit. And that looks kind of cool, right? Nice. We'll cruise over here. It says the video signal is weak. I'm going to be conscious of everything over here, like power lines. I'm going to go a little bit higher. I'm flying kind of low. And we'll cruise over maybe. Let's cruise by this little building. I'm going to get higher. I crashed into one of these trees before, so now I'm a little bit paranoid. So let's go and turn the drone around. And see this guy? I'm going to turn the drone so I can see, make certain. I've flown this area a bunch, so I know there's essentially no trees at 130 feet. But regardless, I'm going to go over here, turn around, and see how it fares with the other side of this building. So let's go over here. Try to get the dam in there a little bit. Make sure I'm still screen recording. I am, thankfully. And we can see defog is on. If we turn it off, look at that. That's a pretty big difference. So that may be a little bit overexposed. We'll go ahead and go to like 160th of a second. You could see the histogram is hugging in the middle, but let's go ahead and enable defog again. Click it, boom, maybe not so much. And you may need to adjust, if you're playing with the defog, your exposure accordingly. But this is kind of weird. We're gonna keep it on. We're gonna go ahead and make it a little bit brighter. And I don't know, maybe, oh shoot, birds. It's a lot of geese. So wait, hold on a second. Paranoid geese. Those guys are big birds. They can take out this drone. So let's go down a little bit. I'm looking at my height, making sure where I'm at. And we're gonna go and play with the defog one more time, see how it does. Oh, I lost connection. That's not good. There we go. So let's go ahead and see. God, these geese are really close. I don't like the geese. So for some reason, I'm not getting the best connection where I'm at. I'm gonna move a little bit closer past this metal. And it does decent. I mean, I don't know. Certain scenes, it's gonna do better with, as I said, but play around with it and just know that it's there. Essentially, this is all this video is about. And it's pretty simplistic. Just an option in the app to basically give you an added little punch to your footage or your still images as opposed to doing it in post. So let's go ahead and turn it off and you'll see the big difference of the scene. Right now it looks much, much more accurate because it is very hazy out. And we'll kind of cruise through. And let's do a little footage here. Hold on a second. I should do that as well. So go ahead and capture. Right now, 24 frames a second. I'm gonna go ahead and get the exposure dialed, maybe an 80th of a second, maybe 60th of a second even. So let's go ahead and fly a little through the same scene. We're gonna cruise. And this is, again, with no defog enabled. Just kind of cruise a little bit over here. Nice, peaceful little flight. No defog enabled. And I would say video is going to be where it's going to be more applicable. I think video is going to be where it makes a little bit more sense because you essentially can't do it as easily in post and you may just get a little better result in camera taking advantage of the defog. But again, play around, see what works for you or what doesn't work for you. And you let me know what you think looks better to you guys. I don't know. Maybe defog doesn't look as pleasing. Whoop, canceled, go to home. But either way, it's built into the app and now you guys know what defog is about a little bit more, hopefully, than you did before this video. So if that is the case, make sure you hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I appreciate you guys. And hopefully 2022 will be a really good year. And like the sign says that I'm coming up on, peace on earth and goodwill to all men and women and animals. See you guys. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.